What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. I want to give a quick shout out. I forgot to do a video about this, but I want to do a quick shout out to the Washington Nationals, okay? They won the World Series in a dramatic 7-game series against the heavily favored Houston Astros. Many people thought that either the Astros or the Yankees would win the World Series this year, but it was the Washington Nationals on the strength of their magnificent pitching that won this series. They were really true. They were the epitome of road warriors in this series. They won 4 road games, which I think has never been done in the World Series before. And so I want to give a shout out to them on their victory. And of course, if you don't know by now, when Donald Trump, our so-called president, made an appearance in, I think it was Game 6, they soundly booed him. Okay, I forgot what game it was, Game 5 or Game 6, might be Game 5. But they soundly booed him, which pretty much goes to show you how most Americans feel about Donald Trump, man. Unfortunately, a lot of Americans don't vote. So I think if every American actually came out and voted next year, Trump would lose in a landslide. The problem is, a lot of people see the voting process as full of shit. You know what I'm saying? They like the candidate. So you have certain people that come out and vote faithfully who unfortunately are Trump supporters. So the true reflection of his popularity in America is not always shown in the actual polls. That, you know, the poll that really mattered, which is the votes. But mentioning Trump, let me segue into a political video. I usually don't do this on this channel, but I want to talk about something. Trump officially changed his residency from New York to Florida. Okay? And many people have been speculating about why he did that. And I think it's 2 reasons. One, I think it has to do with taxes. All right? Of course, Trump is in his golden years. And just in the situation if Trump is not reelected, okay, let's say he goes home back in 2021, Trump only cares about 2 things, money and himself, and his ego. So this is the 2 reasons why I think he changed to his residency from New York to Florida. Let's say Florida has no state income taxes, and also the tax cuts that Trump put out there a couple of years ago were heavily targeted. I read about it at states that are blue, you know, because Trump is a petty motherfucker like that. States like New York and California and maybe like Illinois and New Jersey and shit like that. So financially, it would heavily benefit a guy like Trump to live in Florida. I mean, a lot of people who are older and are concerned about their financial well-being move to Florida. Plus, the weather is nice outside of the summertime when you get fucking, you know, pilloried by fucking hurricanes and shit. But other than that, you know, a guy like Trump, that's not going to bother him. So that's the main reason why I think he's going to Florida. Another reason is just the ego factor. Trump is from New York, a state that is on the presidential level and in most local areas is heavily Democratic. And he already lost his home state in 2016, which is which is New York. So he doesn't want to lose his home state again in 2020. You know, that's doubly embarrassing to lose your own home state in an election, especially if he were to lose in 2020. So that's part of it. He doesn't want to lose his home state. Not saying that Florida is a guarantee, but Trump is a lot more popular in Florida and has a better chance of winning in Florida than he does in New York. New York is not going to vote Republican in a presidential level anytime soon. Not going to happen. Interestingly enough, this also happened with Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon, who a lot of people compare Trump to, lost his home state in 1968, which was at the time New York. Nixon was, of course, from California, but throughout the 1960s, his state of residence was New York, but he lost that state to Hubert Humphrey in 1968. And subsequently afterward, he changed his state of residency from New York to California, which he won in that 49 state landslide in 1972. Although it has to be mentioned that while Nixon did win his home state pretty convincingly in 1972, he actually performed even better in New York in 1972. At the time, New York was a swing state that leaned Democratic, and California was a swing state that leaned Republican. How time has changed, right? New York is now a predominantly Democratic state, and California is probably the most Democratic state in the nation. So there's that. Those are my thoughts about him. But speaking of Trump, man, this guy is totally obsessed with Barack Obama, right? Totally obsessed with Barack Obama. He has a tremendous axe to grind when it comes to Barack. He's trying to dismantle everything that Barack Obama has accomplished in his presidency. He's trying to one-up Barack Obama all the fucking time. You know, Barack Obama was responsible for the capture and killing of Osama bin Laden. Now all of a sudden you have this shit where Trump killed this guy that nobody really heard of before, you know, and all he did was just piss ISIS off more. That, you know, you're just replacing one leader with another. You know, they kill one, they're going to replace him with someone who's probably going to be even worse. So I'm just going to do with him what they did with Barack Obama. They said, well, the president wasn't responsible. It was SEAL Team 6. Well, it wasn't Trump's responsibility. You know what I'm saying? We got to give credit to that dog, right? Give credit to that dog and the team that took out that guy who nobody ever heard of before. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he's obsessed with Barack Obama. I think it's some sort of perceived penis envy. If you were to believe Stormy Daniels' description of Trump, nether regions, I think it's perceived penis envy. I think Trump, I mean, all you gotta do is listen to Trump, listen to him talk, and you look at his hair, man. Look at this fucking hair. Look at this fucking hair, man. Okay, that's all you gotta do. Look at his hair. Look at the lengths that he's going to fight nature. It's insecurity. We make fun of that with LeBron James, but Trump is 1,000 times worse when it comes to insecurity. This is a very insecure man who cannot take any form of criticism. He's a narcissist. And Barack Obama got into Donald Trump's head. And he won't let it go. He thinks about Barack Obama all of the time. But the funny thing about it, Barack Obama could give two shits about Donald Trump. And if you notice, it pisses Trump off that Barack Obama refuses to mention Donald Trump by his name. He won't do it. If you notice, he'll talk about Trump. We all know he's talking about him, but he won't mention Trump's name. He won't do it. And it's for a reason why he's doing that. He's not going to feed that dude's ego. Because, you know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge Obama fan. I used to be 10 years ago, but I'm not a fan of his anymore. But at the end of the day, Trump is obsessed with Barack Obama. And he knows that deep down inside, he knows as a president, he'll never be as beloved. He knows as a president, he's not going to be perceived as successful. And he's not going to get the credit that Barack Obama got. You know, the media, for the most part, except for Fox News, applauded and pretty much were behind President Trump. I know there's a media bias. We all know there's a left-wing liberal bias in media, you know, for the most part. I mean, there's individual conservatives out there, but for the most part, the media is liberal and biased. But also for the most part, Trump deserves a lot of criticism that he gets. So he'll never be beloved by the media. He's not really beloved by the public, except for his ravenous fans. But yeah, for the most part, Trump is obsessed with Barack Obama. Absolutely obsessed with the man. He brags about, he compares his crowd size. I mean, that's how you know it's like a penis thing with him, man. Insecurity. He compared his crowd size, which was sparse for inauguration, to the probably record or near record attendance by Barack Obama back in 2009. He's totally obsessed with trying to one up Barack Obama because he knows that he's not half the man that Barack Obama is. Barack Obama came from nothing and made something of himself. Trump came from everything and still doesn't measure up in most people's eyes. So that's that.